7 things that you must do before you buy a used camper or travel trailer. Hey, welcome to Two Camping Gurus. If you like camping in the great outdoors, you are in the right place. Alright, so today I'm going to talk about 7 things that you really need to take a look at before considering purchasing a used travel trailer. So when you find what you like, these are the things, or some of the things, you need to make sure you do before you make the plunge and make that purchase. So first, we're just going to talk about the inside a little bit really quickly, because probably that's where you're at when you first kind of like it. You walk inside and like, oh, I kind of like the layout, I like the looks of it, it's a nice looking unit. So the first thing you want to do as you're walking around, and these are in no particular order, but the things you need to do. But number 1 on my list is make sure you walk everywhere in the camper. Put your feet all in the corners, up close to cabinets, around the bathroom, the toilet area. Go up beside the bed into the corners. What you're looking for or feeling for is a spongy floor. So sometimes things can look really nice and the floor will look really nice, but if you put your foot in certain areas and it's spongy, or in some cases you could put your foot right through, then you know there's water damage. There's water getting down somehow from the walls down to that floor and rotting it from underneath, and you won't even see it. So just walking in, looking at it, you may not even notice. So walk around every square inch of that floor and really push to see if you can feel spongy areas. Number 2, whether you find spongy areas in the floor or not, what you're going to want to do is open up every single cabinet and put your head in there. Bring a flashlight. Look for wrinkling wallpaper or the paperboard, black stains or water stains in the corners. Get right in there. Make sure there's nothing unusual. It doesn't look right. If you open a cabinet and there's a seam where 2 pieces of wall come together, that would be a typical spot you would see water coming out from that seam if water had gotten in there. So open up every single cabinet, uppers and lowers, and make sure everything looks good, and reach in if you're on the lower one and push on the floors to see if you feel any soft spots there as well. And it wouldn't hurt to do it to the walls inside the cabinet. Push on the walls. Does it feel like the wood is spongy or like it's the delaminating? Really check it over good. So number 3, while you're inside the camper, make sure you go to all of the corners and follow the corner down to the wall, to the floor, and put your hand down there, and especially if it's been raining, a good time to check these if it's been raining, to see if the carpet feels wet in the corner. And now this goes for if this particular unit has slide outs. All around where that slide out is, the corners in those areas, make sure you get your hand right down in there and look to see if there's any discoloration in the corner. These are very typical areas for water to get to, because on the roof, that's where it kind of settles in the corners, or where the caulking is built up, and it can get in there, and you will find it if there's a problem, typically in corners. So you definitely want to take a look at all of the corners everywhere. And number 4, while you're inside, and I mentioned this when you're looking in the cabinets, but look for water lines down the wall or wavy paper. Again, lots of times in the nose cone or the rear of the campers, where there typically is some sort of curve, then sometimes the wall board comes together in 2 pieces and there'll be a seam there. This is another very typical spot that'll look perfectly fine up above, because the water lands on the inside of the wood, runs down, but when it hits that seam, it comes out, and you will see it running down the wall from that halfway point. This usually means there's a leak up above getting down there, and that upper board is going to start rotting out very soon if it's not taken care of. So it's definitely something you want to look at. Really check it over good. Another thing when you're inside, and this is kind of a bonus one, because I know I said 7, but I think we're going to end up around 8, is really check your ceiling good. Reach up around all of your vents, anything that is bolted down through the ceilings from the roof down. Check all around them. Feel for soft spots. Feel for moisture. Make sure everything is solid. Push up and down to see if it's moving more than it really should. You'll typically find this, around bathroom vents, around the air conditioner, any of the crank open vents above the bedroom area, living area. Check all around these really good, because again, up above, we're going to talk about that, after. There's caulking up there, and if that's not taken care of, some of that water will make its way down through the seams where these things are connected. So really check those over good. So I'm not sure if we're on 5 now. I think it might be 5. So number 5, we're going to go outside. What I want you to do is you're going to stand down on one end of the camper and look down the side of it and look for wavy. Now there's a couple things you got to keep in mind when you're doing this. There is 2 different type of, well there's 3, you got aluminum as well. But if we're talking about fiberglass, there's laminated fiberglass and hung fiberglass. And laminated fiberglass should be adhered right to the wood. And if you see that it's wavy or it looks like it's good and flat in some areas and then it's bulging out, that typically means it's delaminated and it's most likely caused to moisture somehow getting in there. And if you walk around, you're pushing on the siding and some areas seem really solid and other areas it's kind of bubbly, then that means it's delaminated and there's probably water damage. Now, a hung fiberglass side or back, the whole thing will probably move, but you won't. When you're looking at it, you'll see that the whole thing is not connected. It's not wavy looking. It's just like the whole thing will move. So it's a little bit different. If I get out in the field, I can show you that. You see that it's wavy, or if it looks solid in some areas and not others, another thing you can do is take a coin and tap on it. If it makes a nice little ting sound, solid, then that's good. If it makes like a hollow sound, that's bad. So keep that in mind. And when you're walking around the outside after you've looked, check all around any window openings, around door openings, look down low, push on it, make sure it feels really good and solid. So, that's another thing you want to look at. Another area you want to take a look at when you're outside is all 4 corners. There's usually some sort of rubber strip on them, and you want to make sure you can, if you can see underneath that, pull it off a little bit or whatever. If it's an independent owner, you're going to have to ask, whoever owns the unit, how much they'll let you look. But you're going to want to look to make sure that those corners are still solid, it's still together. This is another area that if moisture gets in behind and starts to separate that wood and delaminate it, one of the first areas you're going to see it is at the corners, because it's going to pull apart and you're going to see wood. You might even see where people have put extra caulking there. So look for, unusual amount of caulking in the corners. This typically means that it has delaminated, it's starting to separate, and the damage has already started because of a leak, because of, improper maintenance of the roof. So check all 4 corners, check them really good, push on it, feel around, look at it, and see, what the situation is, so you know ahead of time what you're getting into. The next thing you want to do, and I think this is probably number 7, is you want to get up on the roof. Obviously ask permission or talk if you're at a dealership, but at least get up there with a ladder, take a look at it, see if the caulking looks like it's old, is it brittle, is it broken apart, does it look like there's gaps in it? Especially if you find issues down below. And you might want to look at this first. It really doesn't matter. As long as you check all of this stuff before you make that purchase, you're going to be more informed. But look at this caulking. Does it look like it's been, really gummed up in places and not scraped out and redone properly when it was needed? Or has it just not been done at all and it's dried and shrunk and, water's getting in there? Another thing too, if you're allowed, you can get up on the roof and you can kind of feel if the roof is spongy. That's another issue. Now, of course, on these roofs, they're not solid like a house roof. They're going to be some give to them, but you'll know if it's really weak, especially if the caulking looks old and stuff like that. But get around, look all around the vents up there, all around your AC unit, any, pipe, the bathroom pipes or anything like that comes through, or your ceiling fans. Check all around those to make sure the caulking looks like it's been maintained and it's taken care of. If you find an area that doesn't look right, and it looks like something, has leaked, then that would be an area you want to go back inside and double check again. The worst thing you want to do is pick up a travel trailer because it looks really nice, but has major water damage in behind the walls that you don't know about. I mean, it could be black mold, there can be, ants getting in there, because they like moisture. You're buying yourself a huge headache. And if it's a laminated fiberglass camper, the cost to repair that can be in the thousands and most likely is not worth it. Now, with that said, if there's some damage and you're aware of it and you're getting one heck of a deal and you're going to get some use out of the camper, that's something you got to use your judgment. My goal here with this video is to make sure that you don't just walk inside, it looks really nice, everything's been maintained, it's vacuumed, the carpet's clean, it's nice and bright and shiny, everything outside looks pretty good, and you pay a decent amount for and you haul it off, and then find out, oh my goodness, you open up a cabinet and you got water damage, you got delaminating here, delaminating there, all kinds of issues. So we don't want that to happen to you. Make sure you take the time, look around, dig in deep. Now this particular list of things is not the end all of everything you want to check. This is just some things to really look for as far as water damage and whether or not the roof was maintained. Anyways, if you plan on going camping, I want to make sure you're ready, you and your camper are ready to hit the road. So I put together a free ebook and a pre-trip checklist that you could download just by clicking the link right down here in the description. And that's going to give you some tools and some information on what to look for before you head out camping, assuming you already own a camper or you're going to be buying one once you get it. And you're going to go, these are things to check before you hook on and haul it off and head out on your vacation. Because, when we're excited about heading on vacation, it's very easy to forget things. And so this is going to help you eliminate that situation. So click on that. It's free, absolutely free. And of course, make sure you share this video, like this video, comment on this video. Tell me if there's something else you want to see. If you have a question about anything we talked about today, please do that right here in the description. And last but not least, don't forget to subscribe. We're releasing a video every single day, and there's a lot of information coming your way. Like I said, right now we're talking about travel trailers and campers and things like that. But come back often. We're going to continue to release some content for you. As always, have a great day, and of course, happy camping.